Hey, it's Maggie from Tori Consulting, and today I'm going to give you a glimpse into the world of design through the eyes of leading designers across Australia. Here we go. So what's the most ridiculous thing you've been asked for as a designer?
There's been so many good ones. Probably the most ridiculous though was I got asked to do the UX in 3 days for an entire like multi-site internal learning management system platform. There was no product definition, no problem definition, nothing. Like, oh my God, really? Like, do you not get how this works? And I was kind of like newish, and I was like, oh my God, I have to be a team player and, you know, show that I'm open-minded. I was like, but they're crazy. Like, that's not gonna work. But yeah, I had to do a little bit of advocacy, which is another big thing in design. Even in current times, we're getting taken more and more seriously. And like, there's more and more leaders that are able to advocate for design at the leadership table. But, you know,
been working on something for months and the whole thing is basically yellow, and then it's like, yeah, no, I don't feel it. It has to be red. And it, luckily enough, it's often not even that hard to change it, but it's more like, why? Like, why? I will always push back if I'm sure it's the wrong thing, of course, and then I'll make sure that it's very clear that I can't get behind it. I think that's important. But if it's really just a matter of opinion and it doesn't really matter that much, yeah, you know what, I'll change it for you. Go for it.
In general, I've been asked so many times, can you Photoshop it? Can you make it pretty? Take the solution. Oh, Lital will make it pretty. But that's not my job. My job is not to make something pretty. My job is to make something work, right? Because you have the title designer. People think that what we do is making things pretty. So it requires a lot of education of people and saying what design really means. I actually have it for my family as well. Like they have no idea what I'm doing, and it's actually hilarious every time that we talk about it. But yeah, that's probably the main thing.
There was a special request that caught me slightly off guard. To give you better context, imagine the Mexican version of Karen from Bretón asking me to design for her some biodegradable gloves to pick up dog poo. Her idea was to design a glove that was slightly longer on one of its sides so that you could grab the truffle, let's call it, and then pull the glove from an end, flip it, make a knot, and dispose it. I always had the gut feel that the product didn't have like any future or didn't have any legs. But if you consider yourself a good designer, you need to validate your assumptions, right? So after a lot of prototypes, rounds of testing, and some focus groups, we found out that the majority of the participants we spoke to were not happy to pay twice the amount of money they usually pay for their regular poo bags in the shape of a glove. So that informed at least my client that she shouldn't be investing in a project like that. And it's one of those things that people all of a sudden they think they have a great idea, and then they assume that it's going to work because people around them that obviously care about them just give them the wrong signals, like saying, oh, it's a great idea, I think I would probably buy it. And then when they are presenting them to their friends, obviously to feel supported, they are going to say, yeah, it's a great idea. But once you put it out there with the right demographic, with the right people, that's when you realize that maybe your product or your project is not as attractive or desirable as you would expect.
Too many. The most common as a graphic designer in the past, yeah, make the logo bigger, but that's so common that it's not even funny anymore. But I think eventually I've learned how to educate and how to still work around things. What happens is, as a designer, either you compromise or you just burn out and still deliver a quality quality. Basically, what happens is usually you go the latter way, where you just burn out. You won't compromise. I had to create a roadmap for the next 6 months, for which would have cost around 500,000 K, and I was given like a couple of days to come back with my features, like a bunch of 40 features for the 6 months based on anecdotal research. And I was trying to fight that, like, let's not go with assumptions. Assumptions are great to start or kick off a project, but not when MVP has already been created and we are now creating the next phase. Let's learn from MVP. Can you give me a few days to at least test what has worked and not worked? So that was the most ridiculous requirement I've ever dealt with, because it involved a lot of budget. Every designer is different. There is a difference between a UI designer versus a UX versus a service designer, and so unfortunately that is not largely known, how well we can help with probably just one specialty in us and not everything. One person may not be able to do everything. So finding a unicorn all the time or expecting them to do everything is not the way to go. Then there's a lot of imposter syndrome within designers. Then they cope with it. There's anxiety, there's burnout. So we don't talk about those things, unfortunately. We only talk about how amazing design is, and this is what I would like to do, and this is what I would like to create using machine learning, AI, and dark mode and tools. But you also need to be exposed to the not so good things about being in this industry, which you can, I'm so thankful. There are so many articles and so many people who keep now talking about it. So just pay attention and listen to yourself. And if things are not working out, then address it, address the issues, address the situation, communicate, call out if you need support and help. I learned the hard way, but now I know where to draw the line. Or if I need help, hey, this is a job for 2 designers. Can we have somebody, or can we push the deadline? Either or has to work, or we may have to compromise on the quality. So you just have to create scenarios and provide them. You can't have a yes or a no always. There has to be a middle ground, and we just have to work around it.
Thanks so much for watching, and thank you to all our wonderful designers for sharing their tips and insights. If there's anything else you want me to cover, let me know. Otherwise, share the video so we can spread the word and let more people know about what's happening in design. Till next time, bye.